You know, one of the biggest trading lessons I ever learned, if not the biggest trading lesson I ever had, was to understand that my individual stock trades don't operate in a vacuum. They're really mostly moving in line with what the big major indexes are doing, like the S&P and the Dow and the Nasdaq. Understanding what those guys are doing gives you a clue as to why your individual trades are acting the way they are. Your individual stock trades are like ships on the ocean of the major market indexes, so you need to know the tide and current of the market to successfully navigate your way to trading profits. Are we in a bull market or a bear market? What will happen to your trades this week? Don't get caught out and don't miss out. To understand the charts you're about to see, get your free video course and manual, plus many other free bonuses at stockgossipfilter.com. Now let's begin the show. Welcome to another stock market update after the market closed on the 2nd of June 2023. As always, we start with the S&P 500. Each of these little up and down pegs is a week of action over the years below you see at the bottom, and that's smoothed out for us by these moving average lines, the most important one being the red one, which is the 40-week moving average. So the price is above, the things I'm always looking at each week, the price is above or below the key moving average of 40-week, and is the 40-week moving average pointing up or down? Those are the kind of fast check indicators I always look at. And as you can see, it's out of that downtrend of 2022, which I was commentating on, but now it's kind of wavering and leveling off, but the price action itself is really, really good. And as I said last week, I was going to be bullish on the week ahead. You can never be sure, but 95% that whole deficit deal in the US was just a bunch of showboating and nonsense. They were never going to let the US go into default. And then that's what happened as expected on the Friday, and that's that nice action right there. We can zoom in and see that on that chart there. It was looking a bit iffy to begin with, but then finished the week on a very high note indeed. Very, very bullish price action, and everything else I'm showing saying that this market, still could have room to run. It's definitely running hot, needs a correction. That's a fair bit above its 40-week moving average. We'll look at the Nasdaq in a second just to highlight that. Other things I'm looking at here, the VIX, which is a volatility index, that collapsed to the lowest level for years, since way back in 2020 here. For 3 years, that's the lowest level. So that's another bullish sign. There's not much interest in downside bets there. What might be going against us, and it's something that's right 2/3 of the time, as we've just entered a full moon phase. So that's kind of on the bearish angle for the week ahead. And by the way, for the big picture view, we're still in a what I call a transitioning market, or a fox market. It's not a bull or a bear. It's transitioning into something else, which remains to be seen. A little bit frustrating, but my system is proven for over 30 years to work in this way. When I say it's not a bull or a bear yet, believe me, it's not a bull or a bear yet. The chart I really want to point to is the Nasdaq. As I've been saying here, the Nasdaq let us down and it's been leading us out. And the action over the last few weeks here has been really incredibly bullish. But this market this one is getting ahead of itself. So here's the moving average here, the 40-week, and sure enough, it's starting to curl up. But notice the moving average is kind of like an anchor that brings things back. It's like a rubber band, won't let things get too far away from it before it pulls it back. Notice how the price action kind of tends to hug it. Not to say it can't run further, but this one is running hot. So that's definitely something to look at. This week, I'm going to cautiously say bearish in the week ahead, but again with that caveat that the market needs to cool off. But June should still be a good month. One final thing I want to point your attention to, an individual stock, which is BHVN. We had a fabulous week. There's that price action there. If you are subscribed by email, which you should absolutely do, you'll be invited to, look at stocks like this. This was bought $12.50, and look at the action that week. So you're really missing out if you don't, subscribe. Go to the email I give you, and you can also see individual stock trades like that. So that's all for this week. I will speak to you next time. I appreciate you giving this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe or you could miss an important market call. Next up, a free webinar, how to read stock charts and trade stocks, so you'll know what I'm looking at each week and why, as well as be able to trade your own stocks. I'll speak to you next week.